We're the Bling Sisters. Welcome to the Silver Shells Bling Party. We're the Bling Sisters. Jewelry, bling, fashion, that's our destiny. We're inviting people to join the Bling Sisters, bringing entertainers from around the world. We help you find places to go. We sell you the jewelry to take you there. Glam up, accessorize. Let's get out of the living room and out in the town.
Up and down the 101, glamorized party and having fun.
Sonoma, Santa Rosa, Bodega Bay, Windsor, Katani, Roner Park, Petaluma, Hillsburg.
We're the Bling Sisters. Welcome to the Silver Shells Bling Party. We're the Bling Sisters. Jewelry, bling, fashion, that's our destiny. We're the Bling Sisters. Welcome to the Silver Shells Bling Party. We're the Bling Sisters. Jewelry, bling, fashion, that's our destiny. We talk, we chat, we have conversations with interesting people from around the Bay.
Come on, join the Bling Sisters. Let them sell you jewelry that'll make your day.
We're the Bling Sisters. Welcome to the Silver Shells Bling Party. Welcome to the Silver Shells Bling Party.
Okay, it does.
Hello, everyone, and happy Tuesday. I'm Silver Shells,
I'm Cindy Jenkins.
and we are
The Bling Sisters.
And this is our show, Silver Shells Bling Party. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I stuttered over that. This
Did
is
you
our
know?
show. Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
notice. You should just carry on.
I know. Look for the red light in the upper left-hand corner if it's on. We are live. And if you'd like to be notified when we go live, there's a notification bell somewhere. So just click on
It
that.
rotates, but
I
it
know it
looks like a
does.
bell.
It looks like a bell.
It goes all over the place.
It does. It does. So we are two women from the heart of Sonoma County, beautiful Sonoma County. It's starting to be fall out there, and leaves are changing. But we started out with a jewelry store online at www.blingsisters.live. So go check it out. We have jewelry. We have all sorts of jewelry. Sterling silver. We have pearls, beads, crystals, abalone. Oh my gosh. We have precious malachite.
Labradorite, what I'm wearing.
Yes.
With blue topaz.
So if you go check out our store, or you, we'll give you a coupon for 25% off today.
If you mention George Cole's name.
If you mention our
today's guest.
Number 79 is George Cole. Anyway, so go check it out, www.blingsisters.live. And we also interview the who's who in the entertainment industry. We've interviewed musicians, comedians, actors, producers. So far, we've interviewed 78 people so far. So Rodney Norman, he's a comedian. Carl Wyatt, a musician. Bex Marshall, a musician. Jay David, a comedian, actor, and a musician. And Suze Lanier Bramlett, an actor. So we interview all sorts of people. If you'd like to see our past videos, you can go to our Silver Shells Bling Party on Facebook and click on videos, and you can see all 78, including the interview we had with John Provost, who is Timmy of Lassie.
That's right.
That was really a super good interview. We enjoyed that.
Quite a bit.
Icon. John is an icon of Americana. His clothes are in the Smithsonian.
They are.
They are. I think it's pretty awesome. So, and we have future guests who include this Thursday, Kike Gomez.
Right, from Spain. He's going to be up at 3 a.m. to join us.
Just like Carl Wyatt. He was up at 3 a.m. from France. So, and then on Saturday, the 5th, we have Vicki Guillory. She's going to be playing live in Jeannie's backyard.
Right.
So it's socially distanced, masked, so nobody can.
We'll be broadcasting live.
We will. And we have a special guest, couple of really special guests coming up. We have Sal Valentino from the Beau Brummels. He'll be with us on Thursday, September 10th. And if you can't remember quite who the Beau Brummels were, go to the Flintstones and look up the Beau Brummel Stones. It's a great video. I remember that. We have Bourbon House. And then we have Lester Chambers from the Chambers Brothers. He's coming up. He says everybody knows all about his past. All he wants to talk about is what he's got going on now and upcoming. So that's going to be a really fun talk. And then we have Ethan Lake,
an 18-year-old blues guitarist and performer.
All right. So again, I'm Silver Shells.
I'm Cindy Jenkins.
We are the Bling Sisters.
We are the Bling Sisters.
We are.
I didn't catch up with you. I'm sorry. The Bling Sisters.
And we have cups. We have our own cups.
Okay.
So today we welcome guest number 79, George Cole. George Cole is an American music producer, composer, lyricist, vocalist, session musician, guitarist, and teacher. He's currently involved with David Grisman Quintet, and George has his own Gypsy Jazz Uptown Swing Band, the George Cole Orchestra. And we have a burning question.
Well, let's bring him in first.
All right. Come on,
Okay.
George. Come
George,
on down.
yay.
How are you? So I have a really important question, George. Are you all healed up from that terrible horseback riding accident in August? My heart went out to you, and I hope you're healed up well.
You're joking, right?
Of course I'm joking. I read that.
I got you on that one. Yeah, I just copied and pasted that from somewhere I saw it. I thought it was funny. Some people didn't get to the end, and I thought that I had a
You had explaining to do.
serious injury, but I'm fine, thank you.
Oh, that is hilarious. That did get me. I'm reading it thinking, oh, you poor thing. How's that gonna
affect our interview?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because you put something like that on social media, you get a big response,
Yeah.
And other things maybe not so much, but I just made some meatballs, not so much. But if you say I got injured on horseback.
Yeah. You got to give the people what they want, keep their interest, and keep connected to them, right?
That's what they say, it's a full-time job just being on social media these days,
It is, and it's hard sometimes, it gets overwhelming. But so anyway, welcome, George. So you were born in San Francisco.
Yeah, so.
And how long did you live there?
I never lived there. I grew up in Richmond, California.
Oh, okay.
I just happened to be born at what is now called Zuckerberg General Hospital.
No way.
Oh, come on! It's been named that for several years now. And
I
so
did not know.
Pardon me?
I did not know.
It's the Zuckerberg.
No, that's good. We want to change it back, to SF General. But I think he put up a substantial amount of money. It's called naming rights. So that's what he did. He put up so much money that he got to name it Zuckerberg General.
So
Wonderful.
Anyway, okay, so you grew up in Richmond. Now, how old were you when you started noticing music or wanting to play an instrument?
Well, this doesn't make me look very cool, but when I was a small lad, there was a television show. It still runs, it's been running the whole time. It never stopped running. It was called The Lawrence Welk Show, and I liked the accordionist Martin Florin, and I think I had the hots for one of the Lennon sisters. I know this doesn't make me seem very cool, but Lawrence Welk Show, bringing music into the home every night is what kind of got me started to play music. I like music so much. I've always liked music. I mean, some people, there were kids in my neighborhood, they liked bicycles. They took the bicycles apart and mini bikes and then cars. They became car people. And so I just liked music, and so I've kind of been in that direction, and I prefer to live in that world of the arts and music to this day, oddly enough.
To this day. Well, who were So you listened to Louis Prima when you were younger?
Louis Prima.
Louis Prima.
Yeah, from Jungle Book.
That's my parents' and grandparents' music, right? So,
Right.
I really liked, and I got to play with Keely Smith, Louis Prima, Keely Smith. I was in her band for a couple of weeks when she played in San Francisco. And so it's fun to meet and to get a chance to play with your idols. It's great. So we sang duets and we played guitar together. So I like Louis Prima a lot. Yeah, absolutely.
So all right. So you're growing up in Richmond. Did you take lessons in school? Did you take
not
music?
In school. I studied with a guy named Dan Boyd. And just like many years later, I taught like the guys in Green Day and Primus and many, many others, particularly during what we now jokingly refer to as the metal years. I taught a lot of guys, and I still teach to this day, although of course it's online. But I studied with a guy named Dan Boyd, who taught me and so many people. And then later, a guy that's still alive, his name is Jimmy Luttrell, and he played with Spade Cooley and also played with Lawrence Welk briefly a long time ago. So I studied with some great people.
Yeah.
And, I guess I'm a lifelong student of the guitar. You never get to the end. I like to think I know everything, but of course every day, I discover that I don't. So.
So you started in a band in the 70s called Young Country?
Yeah, late 70s, Young Country, that was my first band, and so some of those guys are still around, and we still communicate, and we're still in contact, and I think it's fantastic. There was a lot of talent in that band, and all the cliches. We had a manager in a motorhome and belt bottoms and American flag belt buckles, and we played up in Lake Tahoe and Reno, and so it was a lot of, and Treasure Island at the Officers Club there. So it's great memories, a lot of fun, and it kind of gave me my start professionally.
That was a good. And then in the 80s you joined, or did you start the Upstarts?
No, that was, gosh, when was that? That was in the early 80s, and the first group that I was in that had a record deal was a band called Beatnik Beach, and that was in San Francisco, and we started a local group, South of Market, played all the cool clubs, opening for English bands at the Fillmore. Got a big record deal. It was on MTV. Then, of course, as happens most often, it didn't really catch on with the public, didn't take off. So that was my first experience on the merry-go-round of the music business. I love music. The music business is not for everyone. It's just,
right.
If you saw any of the MTV awards last night, I saw just snippets of it. And it's, I'm not going to say it's because of my age. I'm now 120.
Anybody over 21.
You guys are very well preserved, and it's nice to meet you. But it's just, I found it hard to relate to on a musical level. My thing is, I like music that sounds like it was made by real humans, possibly playing all at the same time. So if there's something I can gravitate, you know how music it has to grab you on a personal level, and some people would say emotional. It has to connect with you, but I don't want to say anything bad about hip hop or rap music, because if you do that in an interview or the craft's here excoriated, I don't know how many viewers you have, but I do know that I can't stand the sound of the digital hi-hat. And if I have to hear the 808 drum machine on another song, like every rap record in the last 45 years, I know that rap music is very innovative, and it's what makes the world go round now. But I just, I can't stand the drum machine and the digital hi-hat. I like music that sounds like it was made by real humans.
By instruments.
By real guys playing real instruments and singing without all the auto-tune and stuff.
Yeah.
When I grew up, the bands that we all grew up with, you had to be able to really sing and to really hold the room, and to be able to sing and play, and that's what was cool about it. And now it's kind of something else, and at the risk of sounding like a 120-year-old man, that's what I think you and hopefully your viewers know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we've been called, both Cindy and I have been called boomers.
Boomers, yeah.
And not in a good way, so yeah.
That's...
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
But when we can't help it if we grew up with the best music. It's not our fault.
Exactly.
It's not our fault. So wear it proudly. I saw some guy with a T-shirt, and this is not you, and this is not me, but it says, I may be old, but I saw all the cool bands.
That's right.
So, you know what I mean? It's just, and it's kind of like our parents' generations. You know, they got to see all the great jazz groups, the swing bands, and so forth. You know, so you know, and you know, you could say that music has been in decline. I don't want to just write everything off. I know there's great music being made today. You just have to look a little harder for it. That's all.
There's so much out there, and so there's just such a glut. But it's not the same music as it was. There's a different, like you say, it's a drum machine and
well, music back then, you know, so we're talking 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever. Music drove the culture.
Yeah.
When I taught guitar at a music store where I also taught Billie from Green Day in the 80s, you know, fiat music out in the middle, it's still there. But during the metal years, I mean, you know, I had 100 students a week. I mean, all these kids are coming in. Really meant something to them, like that band sucks or that band's cool. And now, you know, I think that music is more of a background for kids to do activities while they're multitasking. You know, I don't think it drives. Like my son plays like 6 instruments, but he's 14. But you know, music is not at the center of his life. He's not. Back then, I think we really cared about music. It was very, very important to us. I'm not saying that music isn't important to people now. It just has a different function, do you think? I mean, I don't know.
Well, I think all that talk about music has got me wanting to watch a video, and I think it's a good time to do that now.
All right. So
our first video is Freight. Do you want to tell me a little bit about that?
I don't know what video you're going to show. Freight
Salvage,
in
yes.
Berkeley.
Oh, yeah, George Folk Quintet or Sextet that day at the Freight and Salvage. Yeah, that was a fun show. And that's one of the videos that you asked me to send you some clips on.
Yeah. Okay.
That one is cool. You know, it's Matt Stolling's playing violin. He's a good friend of mine. You know, 2 Grammy Awards, played with Stanley Clarke. Keely Smith played bass with me for a long time. We're still really good friends, but she lives in Seattle. She's probably out rioting and protesting every day. If she's watching, hi Keely. But, you know, she's a millennial and that's their job.
Yeah.
But,
we've all got our jobs.
The play clip, I haven't seen it in a while myself. I look forward to seeing it.
Okay.
Well, let's
All
go.
right. we are back. I'm Silver Shells.
I'm Cindy Jenkins.
We are
the Bling Sisters.
And this is our show, Silver Shells Bling Party. That's the
Sure
second
it is.
time. Oh my gosh, that is just too funny. We're talking with George Cole, and we just watched his Freight Salvage in Berkeley. And so that was with, what group was that?
That's with my quintet.
Your quintet. Okay,
Yes.
all right. And so what made you start that quintet? Oh, no. Okay, never mind. We're going to go back in time. You won a BAMMIE in 1988.
Yeah.
Yeah, how did that impact your life?
It didn't.
It didn't?
So,
That's funny. That is a common response to that question.
say it again?
That is a common response to that question.
Yeah, awards and accolades are all great, but, you guys are, I can tell you're music people. You really like music. It's important to you. And I think it's a great thing that you're doing with the show, bringing attention to different musicians. And because I checked out the harmonica player, the blues guy from Madrid that you're going to have. I thought he was cool, So, I found out about a new person that I like their music. What could be better than that? So, but in answer to your question, awards, accolades, interviews, press, being on TV. It's all well and good, but if you're a music person, what kind of drives you is the next gig, the next song, or the next, performance or video or recording or whatever. So I'm always moving ahead. It's nice to get the awards and accolades, and it looks good in print when you're trying to.
So it didn't present any opportunities to you? It didn't create any opportunities?
Well, it all does. The fact that I played for the last 6 years with David Grisman, who's a big name or legend or what have you.
Dog.
To be in that group, it's like you're a Division I ball player. You're playing with the best of the best, and so because of that, I can get a gig anywhere in the world. It's just whether it pays enough or whether it can be routed to go there. If it's when I want to be there, that's all business. But it's just So actually, any award or any prestigious connection that you have, it all helps. It's fun. I get a lot of disparate fans in my shows. Like I get Green Day fans that know that I taught Billie Joe Armstrong for
Right.
Green Day for 10 years. Or I'll get people that like me from having seen me with David Grisman, or people that just found out about my music. So it's funny like that. I have different constituencies, and the way I feel about it, they're all welcome. If they want to come aboard, very welcome. So yeah.
So you taught one student for 10 years?
I've taught a guy for 20 years. I taught this African kid. Well, he's not a kid anymore, but it's from when he was like 20 to when he was 40 years old. And very interesting guy. It's just he has some physical impairments. He'll never be a great guitar player, but he's a wonderful human being. And like us, he loves music. So, yeah, I've had some long-term students, you might say. And I've had also people that didn't make it to the first lesson. They had car trouble or something like that.
Yeah. My fingers hurt after the second one, and it was like, I don't want my fingers to hurt.
It's not for everyone, but some people have a real, love of music, and a lot of young people these days that are amazing guitar players, they never take a formal lesson. They just learn off of YouTube, which is incredible resource. I learn off YouTube. I'm always watching clips, checking out other guitar players. If you like music, you can take a deep dive for hours into all kinds of music.
Watching Carl Wyatt do his finger thing, and Billy Sheehan do his backwards.
There's so much you can go down the rabbit hole of different styles and different people. Absolutely, there's a lot of content out there, to say the least.
So I asked you earlier. You teach over the internet, right? Remotely.
Yeah, just like we're doing this phone call. I use FaceTime. When my son takes a trumpet lesson, his teacher likes to use Zoom. But I like FaceTime because we can actually play a song at the same time.
Right.
It's just like we're doing now. It works out really good, actually.
Nice.
Yeah, I like it.
I think we should take a minute and say hi to some people.
Okay.
And acknowledge them. We've got Crowbar.
Hello, darling. How are you?
Hello. Bob Favreau is here. Carol Casey is here. Pam. Dan White, Celia Peterson, and Lupe, my lovely sister-in-law from Mexico, is watching.
Hi, Lupe. And I have an adopted grandson in Gambia, Nafamara. Hello, darling, if you're watching. Yeah, my son in heaven. Hi, guys. I hope you're watching. Anyway, okay, now we're back. And so you played with Big Blue Hearts, and you're currently with the Dave Grisman Quintet. Correct?
That's been going on for 6 years, and what an honor to play with one of your heroes.
Yeah.
And, he's a great guy, and he's been almost like a mentor to me. It's been a great experience, and I can never repay him for what I've learned from him. It's great.
You have a reciprocal relationship. You play
Reciprocity.
on his reciprocity. You play on his.
One of my favorite words, reciprocity. One of my favorite words.
It's a winner.
It's very important.
It is. It's a give and take. It's a connected. It's the sharing and the
That's right.
giving.
I totally agree with that.
So, what do you get out of teaching?
I definitely get more out of it than I give. It's really nice to share my art and to help people along on their musical journey. Somebody that's just starting deserves as much care and respect as anyone. It's very important that their first experiences with music are positive, and the teacher is not, pardon my French, an ass, and turns them off to music, to find a way to bring them into the fold, if you will, to the guild of being a guitar player, and guitar playing is so cool that they invented a game called Guitar Hero, so you could simulate playing the guitar, because that's how cool guitar is. Guitar playing is so cool that even if you can't play, you can pretend that you can play. So I'm a big advocate for learning and for teaching and for bringing on the next generations of players. Music is such a great place to live in your mind. It's like going surfing. Think about what's bugging you when you're playing music for 2-3 hours, singing harmony, playing guitar. It's one of the best things you can do. When people decide they want to do it as a career, try to monetize that to make that into a living, like a plumber, like a tech person, or a doctor, or anything. That's a whole other thing. Making the business of music work for you as an individual. We could have a whole multi-hour conversation on that. But suffice it to say, playing music in and of itself is a joyous thing, and it's good for the world. If everybody was sitting around playing guitar and violin, there wouldn't be as many problems in the world. There wouldn't be as many wars and killings and bad things. They'd just be making music.
So that begs to me the question: you tour a lot.
I have, yeah. Nobody's doing anything right now.
No, and when I looked at your tour list. Usually when I look him up, it's by date. So and so was here in 1990, 93. You're like, you've got them alphabetized. A, B, B, B. I think you've done every letter in the alphabet. I was looking at that going, holy cow. So, you toured.
Yeah, how do I say so fresh and optimistic after playing so much? I mean, I love it. I'm not saying that it's easy to be gone from your family or your home for a long period of time, but it's wonderful when you get in front of an audience and they know your music. You can be in Barcelona and they're singing along to you and they know your song. It's a wonderful feeling. You can see why people. It's really a calling for without being overly dramatic for some people. I'm not necessarily even talking about myself, but for some people, it's really a calling. They call them lifers. They do.
Lifers.
Van Morrison at the age of 75 still go out there. I mean, he loves it. I mean, I don't know him personally, although I've known people that have played with him. He's just out there doing it. As are Bob Weir, Tony Bennett in his 90s, 94 years old. He loves to paint and loves to perform. That's where he lives, and it's in his mind.
the connectedness.
Yeah.
So, how long do you practice before a tour?
With my group or just on my own?
On your own, and then with your
The
group.
thing is, when you play guitar as long as I have, and you play as much. What I try to do is to stay away from the guitar. It's just to give my hands a rest. Frankly, you know, I'm out there digging in the yard, in the garden today, and wheelie an axe, and I'm just everything. I just try to take care of my hands, and so to get ready for a tour, there'll be a lot of rehearsals. But on a sidebar, funny story. As I go around the country, you've seen the type of music that I play. Yes, right. It's technically, it's technically difficult to play a lot of this music. People will come up to me and they'll say, "Pardon me, yes, what conservatory did you attend? Well, what conservatory did you study at?" And I'll say, "Barroom." And they'll say, "I'm sorry." And I'll say, "Barroom." They say, "I'm sorry, what do you mean?" I say, "I learned to play in barrooms, learning how to get an audience up off its feet and how to dance, and night after night, set after set, dealing with drums and all those people." Yeah. So essentially, I'm a barroom guitarist. But for some reason, people think I'm conservatory trained.
No,
which is funny to me. I've hired a lot of people to work for me that have been to Juilliard, Manhattan School of Music, Berkeley School of Music, but I'm a barroom guitarist that made good. So I'm very proud of that.
And you write your own songs.
Yeah.
And so we have Tres. How do you pronounce it? Tres Vitae?
Well, it's French. It's Trevi.
Trevi.
It's very fast, and the song is very fast.
Okay. So we're going to listen to George Cole perform a song very fast.
Very fast. Here we go.
That's the name of the song.
There we go. And we are back. Happy Tuesday afternoon, this lovely fall day, September 1st.
It is.
It is the first day of September. And we
Wow,
are...
this year has just flown by.
Oh, I know. I'm glad. I can't wait for 2020 to be over. I'm looking forward to the bright, sparkling challenges of 2021.
Yes.
I hope they're all happy and joyful. And we are interviewing our 79th guest, George Cole. And
Number 79, right?
number 79. So, George, you played with Chris Isaak also. He said you were handpicked.
Yeah, I played on some of his demos and played on one of his records called Forever Blue. I've done a lot of sessions over the years, and it's always a compliment and honor when somebody thinks that you can add to their music, you know. And so usually when you're doing your own music, you approach it one way, but when you're a guest artist or a session guy on a session, you're trying to serve their musical vision and use your creativity to enhance theirs. So doing sessions, it's a really fun thing if you can wrap your head around it. If you can realize that you're serving somebody else's project, you know, it's not your voice that you're enhancing theirs. So doing sessions, great, love it.
So, you probably learn a lot of... How long do you get to learn a song when you're a session musician?
You don't. You know, people will just go in the studio and they'll be playing something, and you know, something will come to mind, just like we're conversing now. You know, I don't know what you didn't send me the questions. We're just conversing. It's kind of like that, a musical conversation. You hear, you know, an E minor chord. So you know, you're gonna come up with something. If you're any good at all, right? So.
That's funny. I saw a show about session singers, and they could pick up anything, you know, right away and do their doo-wops and, you know, add their little trills. And
that's the drill. It's like you wouldn't have somebody put a roof on your house that couldn't do their job. You don't want to hire a singer that's not a real singer that can, you know, come up with parts and sing in tune and all that kind of stuff. It's funny. There's a lot of amateur night out in music, but then there's also some highly skilled professionals. You know, I mean, the Beatles, if you think about it, were charming amateurs when they started, but they became more than that. You know, they, obviously they're the Beatles, but when they started out, they were just a bunch of, you know, kids playing American rock and roll.
right,
So, yeah.
right, and did they get big. So so how many members? Does your orchestra fluctuate? You said it was a quintet.
Well, I have a few different projects. I have the quintet, which is the Gypsy Jazz, which I'm known for. And then a few years ago, David Grisman suggested in his wisdom that because my last name is Cole, that I do a Cole Swings Cole record. I said, only if you produce it. Yeah, so then I do shows as Cole Swings Cole. I do the Nat King Cole Songbook. You know, so that's a lot of fun to do his. And then, of course, I have a big band and an orchestra, which just started last year. And that kind of fluctuates in size, just like you suggested, from 11 all the way up to a 16-piece.
Oh, wow.
Band. Yeah, and I love that music, Ben Goodman, all that kind of stuff, Artie Shaw.
And do you arrange your music?
Yes, I write and arrange that music, and I'm the lead singer, I'm the guitar player. And it's so exciting to stand in front of a big band with all that power. I mean, this is like rock and roll before loud amplifiers were invented. You know, the drums are loud, it's a big, powerful sound, and it's really great. It's a lot of fun. I wish everybody could experience how much fun it is to stand on stage with a big band. Yeah, it's great.
And all the big booming. So you're going to, when all this is over, now are you practicing or are you playing at all, like you said, over Zoom? Or are you actually getting and rehearsing?
Thank you. Yeah, it's just so I'm rehearsing almost every night with my new quintet that I'm putting together. I just played a gig for the Open Museum crowd this weekend. You know, it was small, it was socially distanced, it was a kind of a special event. I'm doing another thing for the Crawford Art Museum, making a video, you know, with a couple of great musicians that will be distributed for, you know, because I had a gig book there at the Crawford Art Museum, but now we're making a video so they can show it, you know, and they have the funding for that kind of thing. So, yeah, you know, things are opening up a little bit, I'd like to think. I mean, maybe giant rock concerts with 45,000 people will be the last thing to open up, but people are getting out and playing. I mean, people want to go out. They want to, put on a new shirt and go out and see their friends and go to be entertained, go to a nice restaurant. Musicians are going nuts because they want to get out and play and work and
connect. I'll connect with people.
That's what we all want. I mean, the little pub down the street from my house in Kensington, the Kensington Circus Pub. I don't know if you guys ever been to my little town, Kensington. It's right near Berkeley, El Cerrito, Albany. And just, they open up outside and there's all kinds of people out there, but they just want to see other people and hang out. They can't go inside.
Right.
But they're just out at the tables and they got the heaters with the flame and stuff outside and everybody just wants to be together. I guess it's human nature, isn't it?
It is, even if you have to socially distance, even if we have to do it over this, we still, have a need to connect and to share. And
I know, it's great. It's just, and I think that's what the future holds. When this thing is over, people are going to go mad. They're going to be going out all the time and spending tons of money doing God knows what.
Well, how are we doing time-wise?
Time-wise, I think it's time for our third video.
All right, so we're going to wrap it up. And I want to thank everyone for joining us. And I certainly want to thank George Cole for being so willing to come on our show.
Absolutely.
We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. I hope it's a good interview for you guys. It was fun for me. I enjoyed it.
Nice.
It is just
Thank you.
lighthearted and fun. So I'm Silver Shells.
I'm Cindy Jenkins.
We are the Bling sisters. And we want to remind you to become an organ donor. Check that whatever box on your driver's license and become an organ donor. And be sure to tune in on Thursday for Kiki Gomez, and then Saturday Vicky Guillory. We're going to have a live dance party, so
let's check it out.
Let's check it out. Anyway, I love you all, and happy Tuesday. Thank you, George Cole, and bye, everybody.
Going out. This is a good video. This is a 7-minute video.
Okay, so do you want to talk about Sheila's Waltz before we go first?
Yeah, I wrote this. This is my most popular song on Spotify. It has 110,000 streams, and I wrote it for my better half, and her name is Sheila, and she's in the other room right now. It's called Sheila's Waltz.
Hi, Sheila.
Thank you. And it's a song we love to play. And I didn't know this was going to become my most popular song, but it did. So there you have it.
All right.
Okay.
We're going to listen to Sheila's Waltz, written and performed by George Cole. Thank you, George Cole.
Thank you, George Cole.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Bye, Lupe.
Bye. Bye, Crowbar.
Okay, here we go. Sheila's Waltz.
Thank you.